Hi, this is Gary Berger of Berger Law here with Leah. Leah, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Excellent, excellent. Leah, we are here. We are here. Thank you and congratulations for getting our firm scholarship to help you in school. Um, we're really grateful that you did the essay and did all the stuff to do it. So congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. So tell me a little bit about you, Leah.
So I am currently 26, finishing up my degree in special education in the state of New Jersey. I worked in early childhood for a while and realized with my students in that age group that I really liked working with those kids that had those special needs. So that's why I jumped into that degree and trying to follow pursuit and specializing.
Well, that's great. That's great. That's great. Wonderful. Um, and you have an interesting background. You're finishing that, but you worked as a medical assistant for for a long time. And what brought you from the medical? I mean, but you used to teach, but then you did medical work, and now you're going back. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, so initially when I graduated high school, I was going to go into an RN program, and I realized that may not be my speed, so I went
Right.
toward the medical assistant thing because the program was a lot shorter, a little easier to get a job afterwards, and it was really just about trying to make money on my own and support myself. So then after I finished my certification program, I was just like, okay, you're going to need a job until you can get a position in the field. And that's when I started teaching in the daycare. And I was like, oh, this is actually really great. I love what I'm doing. But then I was offered a position as a medical assistant. And I mean, you spent so much money getting that certification, you need to use it. And then
Right.
it's one of those things where when you're a little kid, you have those 50,000 job ideas for when you're grown up. And mine were always being in the medical field or teaching. And now I'm lucky enough that I'll get to do both because I'll still have those certifications as a medical assistant and I'll have my teaching degree.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, listen, I'm so proud of what you're doing. I mean, I know you don't know me really, right? But I am so proud of what you're doing with your life.
Thank you.
That's really great.
Yeah, I don't
And
really hear that all that often. So thanks.
well, I got that from your essay. Your
Right.
essay was really sad and really moving to me.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, everyone goes through something, so I don't really harbor on any of it. And I don't sit with any resentment over anything that I mentioned in my essay, but
That's hard. How do you get rid of how do you let go?
I mean, everyone goes through it. Like I mentioned in my essay, from one person's perspective, that you're the victim and they're the victimizer. But then when you really look deeper into it, the victimizer usually at some point was the victim first. And it's just a vicious cycle. So you have to be able to see that other side of things to really understand the whole situation and not just from your own perspective. And when you're able to see that, you're able to sympathize with that person. You may not like them, but you can, and you don't agree with what they've done, but you can almost understand it and why it happened.
That's a really profound lesson. And I'm gonna talk about your stuff in just a minute, and I'm not going to go into detail, but your perspective is interesting. So I'm a father and I'm a son, obviously, and I read because your story is the bullying was in your own family from your father, and then you
Right.
had when you heard your grandmother talking, you kind of connected where he got it from, and you
Yeah.
had maybe more empathy than you had before.
Right.
There's a book I read. So I said I'm a father and a son. I obviously am a son, but I'm a dad. And there's this, and we all look to different things in life to teach us. One of the things I looked at was some Buddhist teaching and things I've read. And there's this great author who's very famous called Thich Nhat Hanh. And one of the books that I read of his, and I don't know if it was Happiness or one of his other ones, and what it said was when you see parenting, remember that it's not just the parent that you see there, but it's the generations of parents behind them that informed that person as to how they parent and how they do and how they act. And so, and that's the lesson. You came to the lesson a different way than I did, but I just remember reading this, 15 years ago, where that was profound to me. Was like, it's not just because I look how I treat my kids and what I do. I got some of it from my parents, some of it I may have messed up on my own,
Right.
I keep not getting Dad of the Year. I don't know why, but uh, it's the generations that go before that, and I think there's a lot of you're in child age. There's a lot of child abuse. There's a lot of things that go on that is not healthy for kids.
Mm,
And a lot of that is the generations of what the parents learned. It's not that the parents are trying to be evil. They may not know better.
right.
Sorry to be the one, I don't mean to talk at you in any way, but
Oh
I've learned
no,
that
I
lesson
totally
myself.
agree. Yeah.
So your story, excuse me, your dad was mean to you, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
The whole family. I mean, I'm the youngest of five. The first three are from my mother's first husband, but they experienced the same abuse. And it was kind of that classic Hallmark movie where the guy comes in and he's really charming, and then you see the other side of it. And for some reason, my mom stuck around and then had my brother and then me. And once the older three were out of the house, and I guess he felt, well, you're my flesh and blood. I get to do what I want with you guys. So it definitely, he picked up gears at that point.
I'm
So
so sorry for the trauma that you've suffered.
it takes a lot to get through it. It's definitely still there in the back of my mind every day, but it's something that you live through and you learn from.
Excuse me again. Well, good for you, and good for getting that appreciation of seeing when you heard your grandmother yelling at your dad, you're like, oh, this is where he got it from, right?
Right. And it's actually, it's so funny to me now because after that, our relationship didn't get better for a long time. I can't say that. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, I get it. It definitely took a process. But at this point now, my dad kind of comes to me for that comfort. Like, granted, I only understand because he's the one that put me through it. But, he'll call me and he's like, you won't believe what she just said to me. Yeah, I get it. That hurts when people talk to you like that. And we both kind of bonded over that type of situation, which is weird in a sense. But
Have you told your father how much he hurt you?
oh yeah, we've had that conversation, a couple of different uncomfortable conversations. But
That's hard to do. Good for you.
mm, it actually, those conversations are what got us both to start talking. That first conversation was hard. He didn't want to listen. But, when I started pointing out the facts, and do you remember when you said this? Oh, you don't remember this day or when this happened? And then I would bring up my grandmother and mention, she's talking to you like that, and you've used those same words on me and my brother. And that's when it started to click for him, and he realized how messed up that was.
Isn't that weird that you're teaching your father?
A little bit, but
We all, the flower blooms when the flower is ready, to quote another Buddhist phrase. And not that I'm a big Buddhist in any way, I don't want to, but good for you. Well, it's important, and this, it's important to, as much as you're helping, and again, you may not need me to tell you this, but as much as you're helping other people in doing this, keep your own strong boundaries, protect yourself. You deserve to be protected. You deserve to look at yourself and be protected and do that. And if you can help your dad along the way, but be a little bit selfish, help yourself first, and make sure you use people to talk to. I don't want to tell you to go do therapy, but but remember, don't just do it with your dad or your grandma. Get other people who you can let this stuff out and share, and keep that healing process throughout your life. And it's just like grieving. It doesn't necessarily go away, but it gets easier every day.
right. Yeah, I agree.
And
And I'm totally a person to go to therapy. So I definitely have plenty to talk about and can fill some pockets. So
take your power back. Take your power back. Go do good in the world and take your power back. And then, are you going to have kids when you get older, or do you have a child now?
I don't have a child and I'm not sure I will in the future, but my joke back in the day when I was in the daycare was I take care of 18 kids every day. I don't need to take care of anyone. I'm at home.
Right, I know, I know.
But you know, plenty of those kids, I haven't been with the daycare in over 2 years now, I think, about that. And I still talk to most of my students. Their parents have my phone number and I get to babysit and hang out and birthday parties and holidays. So I'm
Well,
still
that's
connected
your
with all my
calling.
friends.
You want to take care of kids. I think you probably deep down want to have children.
Maybe.
We don't need to go there, but when you do, if you do, well, just yeah, it's good. You know, it's you know, they say the sins of the father
Hmm.
are revisited on the son, or the sins of the parent. So yeah, I think that, you know, anyway. Well, listen, boy, what a deep conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me and my firm, and talking about it a little bit today, because the more we share about this type of stuff, the more we help everybody.
I agree, and that I'm very vocal about it. Actually, when I was medical assistant, some of my other coworkers were kind of flabbergasted at the fact I was so willing to open up about things. And they blame it on me being a millennial and having a dark sense of humor to get through trauma, but it makes it easier to talk about when you try to make it funny. So if you're willing to open up, you might be able to get another person to open up, and then everyone's healing. And that's the biggest, most important thing.
Stop the cycle, right?
Stop the cycle.
There you go. Well, listen, thanks so much for talking with us. Congratulations. I know the scholarship will be put to good use. When do you graduate? When do you graduate?
I'm actually in my last semester. Hopefully, we're shooting for June of this year. I should be all finished up and ready for graduation.
Wow, that's exciting. And then you're going to go teach special ed?
Early, yeah, so elementary special education. Yep.
Good for you. Good
Thank
for
you.
you. All
I
right. Well, listen,
appreciate all of it.
congrats. I'm going to end this recording. Thank you so much. Good work.
Thank you.